Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If all goes as planned, today is Friday, February 12th, and we are going to be working through Module 3, Unit 2, Lesson 2, which is Analyzing the Characters of Divided Loyalties, Act 1, Scene 2. So, here are our learning targets for the day. I can determine the gist and the meaning of unfamiliar words and phrases in Act 1, Scene 2 of Divided Loyalties. And I can describe a character using details from the text in Act 1, Scene 2 of Divided Loyalties. So if you could please open up your Divided Loyalties book, you're going to go to page 14. You know, if you miss this and you're watching this by yourself, you're going to have to read pages 14 through 18 independently, and this is Act 1, Scene 2. And we know the setting is in the Barton store, and you're going to see what happens in the Barton store as you read. So if you're doing this independently, pause, read Act 1, Scene 2, and then come back, and we're going to move on. Okay, so we're going to get to work now. So we're going to open up our module workbook to pages 52 and 53. And we're going to work to complete the gist really quickly. You might, if you're doing this independently, you're going to have to do it. Or if you're doing it after the lesson, you're going to have to do it independently. In class, we may work in breakout rooms or whole group, I'm not sure. So you're going to record the gist on page 52. Okay, so what was Act 1, Scene 2 about? And we're going to discuss it in class. So let's go on. We're going to fill that out now. Okay, so we're going to make sure we record it correctly. Act 1, Scene 2. Okay, so the question is, what is the gist for Act 1, Scene 2? Sorry, I'm picky here about how I like things. Okay, Act 1, Scene 2 was, and what happened was Mrs. Smith, a customer, decided to stop buying things from the family store because of Robert's. Because of, oh, good heavens. Sorry, y'all. Robert's loyalist views and the impact they are having on the food he sells. Okay, so you're going to record that, pause it, and when you get done, then we're going to move on. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move to page 53 in your model workbook, and we're going to focus on the event of Mrs. Smith deciding not to shop at the Barton store anymore. Okay, and we're going to fill in the character analysis note catcher on page 53. Okay, so there, if you look down here, you're going to see this is what it looks like. So we're going to fill in our characters, and I'm going to choose those for you. We're going to write what the character thinks or feels and how we know. What are the actions? What does the character do to interact with others? Okay, so we're going to do the first one together, and then I'm going to have you do the second one independently, specifically in class. Okay, so our first character that we're going to focus on is Robert. And what does he feel or think? Well, Robert is sad and sorry that Mrs. Smith isn't going to shop there anymore. But it won't change his mind about what he believes. And how do we know this? Well, this is getting text examples, okay? So we have to write down the things he says, the things that he does, how he interacts with others. So we know he says to Abigail, I regret to say, okay, he also says to Abigail, I have my beliefs and I will stand by them. I will not be forced to change my opinions. And he says to William, not let those so-called patriots tell me what to do. Okay. So pause that and get that written in on page 53. Okay, in those top 3 boxes. All right, and then you are going to be filling in this next section. Let me see if I can make that smaller. Hang on. And be filling in this next section using William as your character. And I want you to write in what he thinks and feels, how we know that using proof from the text. I'm going to pause and fill this in. I want you to do it independently. And after you've done it, then I want you to come back and check that you have everything that I have. Okay. Okay, so check your work to see if you got this. So how does William, think or feel? He thinks his father shouldn't sell tea and should only sell local produce. He thinks that his dad, Robert, should join the Patriots, even if he doesn't agree with them. And how do we know that? Well, after Abigail suggests to Robert they should stop selling tea and only sell local produce, William says, yep, I think she's right. And he goes on to say, I think you should consider taking a loyalty oath to the Patriot cause. We know that his father was a loyalist and he did not support the Patriot cause, but William he's pretty adamant that his dad needs to do that, right? Okay. Now, the last thing we're going to do today is, as a class, we're going to be writing a paragraph that is a character analysis of Robert. All right. Now, what that means is we're going to introduce and break apart this character so that the reader understands how he's reacting to the situation. All right. Like that. The reader. Okay. And how does Robert feel about the event and how do we know that? And how does it compare to how the other characters feel? All right. So in class, we're going to be writing this together. But if you are watching this because you missed class, I'm going to pull up my paragraph so that you can see it. Hang on one second. All right. So here's my character analysis paragraph of Robert from Act 1, Scene 2. So notice I say in Act 1, Scene 2 of Divided Loyalties by Gare Thompson. So I introduced the text, the act and scene, and the author. Okay. Mrs. Smith, a customer of the Barton store, decides to stop shopping there because of Robert's loyalist views and the impact they are having on the food he sells. Okay, so there's my gist. There's what happened in the scene. Now we got to describe Robert. So it says, Robert is sad and sorry to lose Mrs. Smith as a customer. When Abigail asks what happened, Robert says, I regret to say that she has decided to stop buying goods from us. The use of the word regret shows that he is sad and sorry to lose her as a customer. Robert will also not change his mind and remains loyal to the loyalist cause. He says to Abigail, I have my beliefs and I will stand by them. I will not be forced to change my opinions. Robert has very different reactions than his son and daughter about this situation, because perhaps he's used to living in Britain and has more emotional connections to Britain than the children have. So this explains how Robert thought and felt and how he reacted, and then it compares his reaction to that of his children. Okay? So there's quite a few different pieces in there that we needed to include. So as we continue, you're going to be writing character analysis paragraphs, and you're going to have to make sure that you have all of these pieces. So we introduce our text and author. We tell specifically what act and scene we were in. We give the gist. We tell how the character feels and thinks and why, using proof from the text, and then compare that to the actions of the other characters. Okay? All right, now, just I think that is it for the day. So let's do a quick learning target check-in. Did we do this? Did we, whoops, sorry, did we determine the gist and meaning of unfamiliar words in Act 1, Scene 2? Yes. And can we describe the character using details from the text? Yes. So I think we have done our job today. Thank you, friends. Have a wonderful day.